exercise for you someday. Take a Papermate pen. Honestly, this isn't a Papermate pen. But Papermate pen would be the best pen to take simply because, well, when I was a kid, they used to advertise that you could write in space with a Papermate upside down because of the pressure, and you could write against gravity. So take your pen, Papermate or otherwise, and make a little dot. And then just think of that dot as your life. And think of the rest of the ink in the pen, all the words, everything that is to come from that. Think of it as eternity, or at least part of eternity. Sooner or later, a pen will run out. But think of all the writing that comes after that as a step toward eternity. The Alive Now devotional recently had these words. Take some uninterrupted time with God to reflect on your desires. And I'd say to reflect on your desires, remembering life is but this speck that is preparing us for eternity. Questions were these. What do you most want? What do you still want to do with your life? What kind of person do you want to become before you die? What kind of personality, in other words, do you want to take with you to heaven's shore? And is there anything that keeps you from being that person? Anything that keeps you from a full commitment 24/7, trying to live as Jesus lived and love as Jesus loved? Anything that keeps you from adopting the kingdom life fully, right here and now, before you even move into the kingdom to come? As Jesus and his closest followers were walking down the road, a few people drew near him and they said, "We want our dot to follow you for the rest of this life." And Jesus said to them, "Well, foxes have holes, birds of the air have their nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." And apparently, they decided not to follow with that. It's no wonder to me that Christians sometimes get stuck in all kinds of conversations. The conversations aren't bad, but getting stuck in them isn't so good. Conversations of what's right and wrong and what other people ought to be doing or not doing. Conversations of the head and mind. Conversations that engage in political issues and get stuck there because those things are easier than literally giving up a pillow and the comfort and shelter of home. It's a little more comfortable to get into judgment mode than to sort through our stuff. And we have a lot of stuff. Stuff in the mind and stuff in the heart. And whenever there's a garage sale at church, the reminder that we have a lot of stuff at home because we always have plenty of stuff for the garage sales. Imagine if Jesus is really serious about even giving up half of our stuff and half of the energy and time we provide into caring for ourselves and turning that over into caring for others. Follow me, Jesus says. And one says, "Yes, Lord, and I will. I just need to care for my ailing father. It won't be long. After I bury him, I will come and follow you." Follow me, Jesus says. And another says, "You know, I've got a few things to take care of. Just stay right here. I'll be back. Don't move. Give me a minute. I'll be back." Who do you want to be? Where is Jesus offering healing for you? A fresh start, a new path. Where is Jesus saying, "I have something better for you. If you're ready, I will take your old wound from you. It will be forgotten and forgiven and exchanged for a new peace in your heart." And Jesus asks, what's holding us back? When I was a teenager in Sunday school, we had a man who didn't use Sunday school curriculum. He didn't even use a course outline for the entire year. What he did, well, he didn't try to share a lot of information about the Bible. What he did try, not Methodist history either, not a catechism. We didn't memorize the books of the Bible. We were supposed to have done that earlier. What he did share was a picture of himself and others who were in formation each and every day with God. He would come each week with a different one of his devotional books and a story that touched his heart that week. And he would tell us the story of another person's faith journey, or sometimes his own faith journey. One week I remember it was when he was in the army, and the first night that the barracks had this opportunity to go to town. And he had spoken about feeling left out because he decided he wasn't going to go drinking and go to town, and that was what it was about. And he described what it was like cleaning the restroom and being there almost as the mother for these other young guys as they came in kind of hungover and sick and all of that. But he also described the relationship changing in that barracks and how the other guys had an appreciation for him they hadn't had before because he helped them get through and get things prepared for the next morning's inspection. He talked a bit about farming. Even the times a tool would slip or a hailstorm would come or a hog would break free of the enclosure, and the tension between anger and wanting to say a few choice words and sometimes saying a few choice words and trying to turn the situation over to God. In the end, he would say a prayer for us, but he'd also just kind of say a prayer in general. And he would let us overhear, as it were, him pray. And by overhearing, learn to pray ourselves. In the end, he taught us that life was meant to grow each and every day in our relationship with God. And he also taught us that real men could actually read devotionals. That was kind of important. There were 10 guys and 1 girl in that class. There were the ski trips and the sledding and the hay rides and the game Sundays and the fishing trips. But all of that, it was clear, was just to have a little fun in between, and those were fleeting things, because the real thing that mattered was that our relationship with God was everlasting. And if he were here today, he wouldn't be that old. Illness took his life a few years back, and I remember driving to his viewing with Shelley and wondering, thinking about what it was I would say to his grown daughter, his grown son, and to his wife, what it was that I would be able to share kind of as a thank you, but also as a memory that would make them smile. What kind of thank you I could share with his wife, Phyllis. Because Dick wasn't always a devoted follower of Jesus. He, in his younger years, saw this woman named Phyllis, and he was kind of attracted to her, and she seemed to like him, but she had this God thing going on, and every day she wanted to do something for God, and that relationship with God was a very important part of her life. And he discovered if he wanted to be with Phyllis, he was going to have to think about this God thing. And he's going to have to kind of think about it every day, and that started his devotional life and his transformation in his life. It was as if he put his hand to the plow when he saw Phyllis and thought, if I'm going to be with her, I'm going to have to be with God. And he didn't look back, and he just kept on living life that way. And at the end of the day, he would ask God where he had failed to be the person he could be, and where he had done well being like Jesus wanted him to be, and where he'd done something he thought Jesus might have wanted him to do, but wasn't quite sure because it wasn't quite clear, and tried to turn that over to God. When our class graduated, Dick wasn't he was an intelligent man. He quit teaching that age group. He had earned that. And he went on to teaching an adult Bible study. They hadn't had an adult Bible study at the church, but he started it. He's passed away now. That adult study keeps going on because others took over the role. I think of Dick, and I think, uh-oh, I lost my spot here. Not my spot in the sermon. My spot is the yellow dot. Oh, here, no, that's not my yellow dot. You're going to have to imagine the yellow dot. The blue dot on the yellow page. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's like that some days. And